Back.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see everybody in Bell Hall today. Late in the... Is that my freaking phone? It is. Jen, my phone, for some reason, which is silenced, is still blasting music. If you want to just put it in the music room for now, or pause it, thank you. Hello, everybody on the street. For those of you who might not have met me yet, my name is Teresa. My pronouns are she and her. I want to welcome you here. We always start our Sunday mornings, of course, with music, singing all together. So if you know this one, please rise, whether in body or in spirit, and join us.
Changing every day in every possible way. And oh, my dreams is never quite as it seems. It never quite as it seems. I know I felt like this before, but now I'm feeling it even more, because it came from you. a different way to be. Impossible to ignore. Never come true. Impossible not to do. Impossible not to do. And now I tell you openly, you have my heart, so don't hurt me. You're what I couldn't find. A totally amazing mind, so understanding and so kind. You're everything to me. And oh, my life is changing every day. Every possible way. And oh, my dreams, it's never quite as it seems. 'Cause you're a dream to me, dream to me.
I have to pause just for a tech note. I think we've lost a little bit of Andrea in the monitors, so we might be able to bump her up. Thank you. It's a live service, guys.
Check, check, check.
Maybe better. All right, we're gonna try this song. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are no countries, there are no sides. I don't know why they draw these lines. I don't know
the flood, the ache, the fear inside. I know it hurts a little bit, but aren't you still in love with it down here?
This world is borrowed and incomplete. Its dreams are startled into the street, tenderly waking like a child. Another new day born inside. Your life is small, you know you could. If nothing else, do something good. Your life is small, you know you could. If nothing else, do something good. I'm just going to keep the cap off because I might mean it midway through the song. Please rise, whether in body or in spirit, for something completely different. Hey, don't knock yourself off yet. It's only in your head to feel left out. Look down, Lord. Let's try your best. Try everything you can. Don't you worry what the children says. You're away.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright.
Hey, you know they're all the same. You know you're doing better one more. So don't buy it. Live right now. Just be yourself. It doesn't matter if it's good enough for someone else.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright.
Hey, don't write yourself up. It's only in your head you feel left out.
Look down on,
Just do your best.
do your best,
Do everything you can.
everything you can.
Don't you worry what the bitter hearts
I'm gonna say,
oh!
it just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything everything will be alright.
All right. Testing, test. Oh, we're good. Awesome. Hello. Welcome to WellSprings. My name is Beverly. My pronouns are she and her, and I am truly honored to be serving as our worship leader today. Each week when we gather, we light a chalice, not only as a symbol of our shared spiritual heritage, but as a reminder of the spark that lives on in each of us, going us through each day and encouraging us to move on. Today I have asked Clint and Oliver to join us and light our chalice, and after they have done so, we will say the words on the screen together. Just on the top. Sorry. It's their first time. And together we say, we light this chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Thank you. Good morning. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. Many of you, most of you, I suspect probably, are lucky enough to live with your family. You get to see them every day and share meals with them and enjoy their company and spend quality time together. My family, unfortunately, I met in college. And after college, we graduated and kind of spread out across the country. So I don't get to see them terribly often. However, once a year, we gather at my friend's John's house up in upstate New York and all come together to hang out pretty much exactly the same way that we did in college. We have meals together, we eat lots of pizza, we play video games, we watch movies, and we chat a whole bunch. I have a friend who will be coming in from Portland, Oregon, another friend coming in from Missouri, another friend coming in from Virginia, and of course my friend John, whose house it is, and we lovingly refer to this gathering as JohnCon, because why not? We will be gathering at the end of August, and we have been communicating over Discord recently, trying to organize meals and events and figure out our movie runnings, and it's just been getting me really, really, really excited to see the people that I love more than anybody else on the planet. So for me, getting to see my family, and for all of you who get to see your family, I hope that our quality time together is just as nourishing and wonderful as we always hope that it will be to keep us fueled and going through everyday life. This morning, I'd like to especially welcome any newcomers. If this is your first or second time with us, we're so glad that you're here. Our belonging team is here to help you out, if you guys want to raise your hands, and help to answer any questions that you may have and make you feel at home here in WellSprings. If you'd like to learn more about WellSprings or take your step in our community, they can also help to direct you to the bathrooms. We do have both gender-neutral and gendered bathrooms available. We also have a virtual connection card available for you to let us know who you are, how to keep in touch, and what we can do to make sure that you feel entirely welcome. Anywhere that you see the QR code, probably on the screen behind me, there's a link to the online connection card. And if you're watching from home, there is a link available in the description below the video. If you'd like to interact with folks joining us online, there is a live chat available in the YouTube video. You'll also need a YouTube or Google account to sign in. Then you just click on the live chat button to say hello. And finally, you can always find more information about today's service, as well as upcoming events and news by scanning our QR code available on the welcome table just outside the door. And now for our announcements for this week, I will turn it over to our Community Engagement Coordinator, Susanna Sinclair.
Hello, hello. Okay, so we actually just have very brief announcements. So if you are planning on attending next Sunday, just put a little tag on your calendar to hang out after service. We have 2 events happening after service. The first one, the WellSprings 2.0 Listening to Our Lives that you saw the testimonial last week if you were here. They're going to be doing a preview session for about 45 minutes after service, so consider just hanging around and check it out and see what it's about if you're thinking about RSVPing for September. And then the other one, our Youth Bridge group, Teen Spirit and Service, is going to be putting together care packages for young adults. So if you'd like to stay after and help them assemble some care packages, we'd love to have you. And then finally, our snacks today were provided by Caroline. Thank you.
And at WellSprings, the foundation of all that we do is rooted in the power of connection, of making space in our hearts and in our lives for each other. And this is the part of the service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. We recognize our community's presence well beyond these walls, so feel free to take a moment now to connect and share a greeting in the live chat, or maybe say a hello in the WellSprings Oasis, our private group on Facebook. And for those here in Bell Hall, a reminder to please ask before hugging or approaching closely. And if you prefer to keep a distance for any reason, just keep your seat, and that will be our clue to say hello to you from afar. With gratitude for all the ways that we might connect, please greet one another now. Hi. Thank you, everyone, for those warm greetings. Of course, you are always encouraged to continue these wonderful conversations after the service, as we have our snacks, which are provided over on the table in the back corner there. And I would now like to invite you all into our time of generosity, which is an opportunity to express our gratitude for and commitment to all the ways that the spiritual community has an impact on all of our lives. We sustain WellSprings now and into the future through our contributions. If you'd like, you can use your phone to give from anywhere. Just text WSprings to 73256. It's also easy and convenient to automate your giving on Realm. Our belonging team will be bringing hats around for those who wish to donate by hand. You can also drop a check or cash donation into the box near the front doors on the welcome table. Thank you for all of the ways that your gift supports WellSprings. Our offering will now be gratefully received.
Before you can go Listen, how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Sorry for the feedback.
Having shared energy between us and giving beyond us, let's take some time now to reground into the deep and soulful energy that's within. We do this by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath, inhaling and exhaling without rush or hurry, breathing in and breathing out, with a reminder that there is nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. So let us experience peace and cultivate presence in this time together. As we move into our time of mindful silence, we follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as is our own breath. May this be so for us this moment, may it be so for us this day, and may it be so for all of us in the days to come. And now is the time for the children of our congregation to join Miss Carol and River in the back for their time in Youth Spirit. A reminder to all of the parents to please bring up the same children that you came with when you are on your way out this afternoon. And now I would like to join the band to join us for our next song.
The money, the more we paid. I lost myself along the way. What if life is all about giving back the love we found? And I'm so tired of the scream and shout. From that dried up river, we haven't talked in quite a while. It's been so long since I've seen that smile and all that way you carry, it ain't necessary. Maybe it's not for us to understand. What if life is all about giving back the love you found? I'm so tired of the scream and shout. We're all drinking from that dried up river. Oh, I wanna be grateful for the food on my table instead of eating each other alive. Oh, I wanna be happy. Don't you wanna be happy instead of drinking from that dried up river? What if life is all about giving back the love you found? And I'm so tired of the scream and shout. We're all drinking from that dried up river. What if life is all about giving back the love you found? And I'm so tired of the scream and shout. We're all drinking from that dried up river.
Oh, it's working though. Okay, good. If you're wondering, it's a little, thank you. It's a little crunchy. I should sing like a heavy metal song right now, I think. If you're wondering why we're spending so much time checking our sound, this is the first Sunday that we're using the school's new sound system that they've been installing over the summer. So it sounds great when we get it all dialed in right. I'm loving it, but it'll probably be another week or two before everything is settled. Okay, I don't quite sound like a robot as much. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. That was some fine singing. Thank you. Thank you all. So this morning, we are beginning our August tradition here at WellSprings. This is our 6th year now, doing our annual Neighbors and Helpers message series. And each year we spend this month, the month of August, inviting people from outside of WellSprings to share a bit about their experience of life here in this corner of the world that we share. We recognize here that just because we live close by to each other, it does not always mean that we know what our neighbors are facing. Even within our own community, our own congregation, we often don't share the same experience of these neighborhoods that we walk through, the streets that we drive on, the schools or the stores or other gathering places that we spend our time in. Life looks a little bit different for each one of us and for each one of our neighbors. And we believe that part of showing up for each other with love here in our community and beyond our doors, it means being actively curious about those differences, curious about each other, and open not only to hearing, but really learning from each other's stories. In June, just a little over a month ago, about 2 months ago now, at our congregational meeting, I shared what our congregational goals look like for the upcoming year. And one of our goals for this coming year, you might remember, is to be a refuge, to embrace what makes each person in our community unique, and to bring that same attitude out into the world with everyone we meet. Being a refuge means offering comfort to all of our neighbors who are scared or hurting, especially when no one else is stepping forward. And our first guest for this summer's Neighbors and Helpers series offers a really tremendous example for how we can live out that intention to be a refuge for each other. Our guest today is Stephanie Vincent. You can start making your way up if you want. Stephanie, who I've actually known since we were literally kids. We went to high school together. Stephanie was, I think, a year or two ahead of me. What year did you graduate? 98. You were 3 years ahead of me. Yeah. We went to high school together, though we didn't know each other super well back then. But nowadays, I know her as one of the fiercest local community advocates that I've met in recent years. Steph is the founder and the lead organizer for Community for Change Montgomery County and for the Montco Community Watch. So I was going to say, let's welcome Stephanie Vincent to the stage, but she's already here. Let's welcome Stephanie. I'm going to move this. There we go. All right. And this is for you. There you go. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You got to hold it close to your mouth. I'm
Okay,
sure.
there you go.
We're good.
I could probably talk loud enough for everybody here.
So Stephanie, for our congregation, like I said, this message series is all about getting to know our neighbors. So I always start each conversation by asking our guests to share a little bit about your connection to our area. And I know your work is focused in Montgomery County, and I know where you went to high school at least, but did you grow up in this area, and how did you come to live in the place that you call home now?
Yeah, I actually have a unique situation in that I live in the house that my Italian immigrant grandparents were the first owners. So lifelong resident, all my kids, all my ancestors. So yeah, I've been here for a long time.
That must be an old house.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's no issues with plumbing or the roof or anything like that. Yeah.
Super standardized.
Yeah. So a few years ago, you founded a grassroots community group called Community for Change Montgomery County. It's a coalition in our neighboring county just over the river of volunteers and advocates, neighbors, local groups that are all organizing together for justice, equity, and safety. And out of that work, you also developed an affiliated group called Montco Community Watch. Can you say a little bit about what inspired you to start Community for Change and how it's grown?
So Community for Change actually started during the racial justice movement of 2020. My teenage daughter, she was 14 at that time, was having a really difficult time with her mental health. And I took her to a protest, and that first protest, she walked into the middle and spoke with such confidence and grace that I said, I'm going to take her to every protest that I find. So I did, and then I ended up then becoming, organizing a lot of it in the beginning with street protests and visibility events. And then the election happened. And that first week I was like, I don't know what to do. Protests, what are we gonna do?
The 2024 election?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, in fact, that day I had an appointment with my therapist, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And she said, why don't you just stop trying to decide? And that night, it felt like I just got this download where I realized that the power we had lived in our local communities, in our families, and even our interpersonal, even in our relationships with our own selves. So, as Community for Change started to grow and develop in 2024, we've really started to really focus on building community. We have a circle where we bring people in every month to connect, to be able to talk about the even the emotional part of what's happening for folks. Starting to a lot of mutual aid, trying to help each other, learn to rely on each other instead of systems to get the things that we need. Just focus on the work of liberation. And that work is really, really, truly starts between us, to be able to hold each other, to have belonging in our communities, and to be able to handle, conflict and disagreement and still hold each other's humanity. So that's where the work is moving, and I really think that's how we change the world.
It's interesting. I think I saw what you all were doing more through protests and the visible stuff that you're doing out on the streets in Montgomery County, but I don't think I realized until I was getting ready for this conversation that you also do these, you call them community circles?
Yeah, we do community circles, and we've also been working on monthly mutual aid meetups. We've been changing the name because people don't seem to understand. Mutual aid is not everything that people still need to learn about. But basically, buy nothing meetups where we share what we have instead of having to go out and buy more. So, but it's really bigger than that, because it's just we've done a lot of like GoFundMe's, or just honestly, if there's a community member that has a need, we help figure it out. So.
What kinds of things happen in the community circles when you gather?
I joke that it's kind of like activist church, but it's kind of like this. But we basically have a framework where we meet, and we have a space for sharing events. We have a space for heart to speak about the emotional side of it, and then we typically have at the end some kind of workspace where we organize together, or we discuss a topic, or we learn about something. But really the intention is, what happened is I started organizing during COVID, so everything was on Zoom. Really that's kind of how things were. But then when everything started with ICE and I started organizing for Monco Community Watch, we did a lot of in-person work and realized that people need to be in person. So that was another reason for the circle, was to get people in the same room, to start getting to trust each other and know each other.
Yeah. So that was the other piece of what I had seen you doing. I think you've gotten some news coverage for the rapid response work that you all have been doing. So some of what your organization does falls under this umbrella of what is, you might have heard of, referred to as rapid response to ICE activity in the area. For full disclosure, I'm also involved in rapid response efforts in the community where I live. But I think a lot of folks don't really know what that means and what that looks like on the ground. So could you demystify maybe a little bit for us and describe a little bit about what forms ICE rapid response takes for you all in Montco?
Yeah. Last May, it was at the end of last May that one of the Latino organizations in Norristown, Unitas Power Severe, called a meeting because ICE was coming every day to their community, and they didn't know what to do. So that's where we started. We literally started with 4 of us waking up at 5 a.m., sitting in their center, waiting for the community to call. The big part of what we did in the beginning, and the main goal to start, was really about exercising our First Amendment rights to be bystanders and witnesses, to document the activity and the unconstitutional actions of ICE. And we still do that, and that's a big part of it, is trying to get there, to videotape so it doesn't happen in the shadows. So that people know. And then also, there's work being done by the ACLU to collect for mass suits and things like that. So they're collecting these videos and documentation. But beyond that, what's really happened is that rapid response and legal observing has become a lifeline for immigrant families that are dealing with ICE abductions and family separations. because the way that it works is they're literally just taken off the street, mostly almost 95% of the time on their way to work. And literally, there's no information. So they're just waiting. They don't know where their person has been taken until the person calls, and then families don't know anything about the process. It's extremely confusing and scary, and so so a lot of what we do is helping them navigate those, especially those first 24 hours. And even more excitingly, on a positive note, in this area specifically, we have been able, there's a pro bono group of lawyers in Philadelphia called the Philadelphia Defenders that are able to file habeas petitions. So basically habeas is in the Constitution against just grabbing people and detaining them. So when they're able to file habeas petitions before they leave the Philadelphia Detention Center is where people from this area all go first. They actually have been able to get them released. It doesn't work as well everywhere. In the western part of the state, the judges instead of order release, they order them to have a bond hearing with the immigration system, which isn't as great because you need a good lawyer to actually get out with that. So so a lot of our work now, when we're able to identify people, we're able to connect them with that and then hopefully get them out, and they never have to go to an immigration detention camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the idea people have is that rapid response teams are interfering in some way with ICE, and I know that every training I've ever been a part of for rapid response says do not interfere, record, document what's happening, and if anything, try to get the name or the contact for family of the person who's being detained. You might remember seeing pictures back when, last winter when ICE was in Minneapolis, of cars abandoned on the side of the road, still running. That happened in Phoenixville at the Foodery. There was a car left in the parking lot when someone was taken. So there's no system of ICE isn't calling up the person's wife or kids and giving them information. The only way sometimes that they get information is if rapid responders are there.
Yeah. I had a family that I helped, Albanian family, and the 20-year-old son was navigating because mom spoke broken English, and he said to me, I called ICE and they told me that I should check the ICE locator website in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I was like, where's my dad? And I had to say to this guy, I had to say to him, listen, I hate to say this to you, but every part of this process is going to be cruel and unfair and make no sense. But what you said is completely true about rapid response. We do not interfere. Everything we do is completely legal. It's all within our constitutional rights, and we train folks not to, because not only do we care about the people that we're helping, but even our volunteers too. If we get arrested or it's really not gonna help anybody to do that. Of course, we wish we could stop, and we do everything we can if we know to warn the community, but at the end of the day, we're doing everything we can to be a lifeline for these families.
Yeah. I'm curious for us, how many of us are hearing about what rapid response involves for the first time? A couple people, yeah. We'll have time for questions at the end for Stephanie, so it might be kind of a lot to absorb if you're hearing about this for the first time. But if you have questions, we're going to take a couple minutes at the end so that you can get more details if you want to know more. And my next question is more personal, because I know that what is happening in our local immigrant communities has affected your family personally. And I don't want to ask you to share any details that you're not comfortable with, but are there any insights from your family's experience of seeing ICE enforcement up close, insights that you might want to share to help people understand what's going on?
Yeah. So it was ironically January 6th when I got a call from my daughter. I coach CrossFit classes and work at a gym, and I was coaching, and my phone kept ringing, and I answered, and she said, ICE is here. They're taking John, who's her husband. Partially, I was like, I would normally have been home, and I wasn't, and I was like, I don't know what would happen if I would have been home, how I would have reacted. So it happened to our family, and the part of it that was the most eye-opening for me was that I had so much resources. I had connections to the best immigrant rights organizations, recommendations for the best lawyers, helping other people, and I couldn't believe how complicated, how hard the process was. It took us a couple hours to figure out how to put money on his account so he could call us. And I thought, what do people do that don't have resources? What do people do that don't speak English? What do people do that are also undocumented and are afraid to interact with these systems at all? So it's one of those things where like you can see it, but then to experience it is a whole nother thing. And then just, every part of the process of what John went through was dehumanizing and horrible. He spent a week in the Philadelphia detention center where there's no windows and TVs with no sound and foul-smelling water. He witnessed another person dying in detention that week. And then, being in Moshannon Valley Processing Center is the main immigrant detention that most folks from our area get sent from after they leave Philadelphia. 80 men in a room in bunk beds with mattresses that you can feel they're thin, you can feel the bed underneath, meals where they get a scoop of rice, a hot dog, and a piece of cornbread. 10-second showers, or you have to keep pushing a button to get the water. 4 toilets, so guys have to wake up early in the morning and get in line. So it's just to see that firsthand and see the injustice takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. John's home now, right?
Yeah, John's actually here.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah.
he said don't bring him up here, but he's welcome to talk to people if they want to ask questions.
I hate that happened to you, and I'm glad you're here now. Yeah. Sometimes when I hear debates about immigration, I hear people kind of falling back on this idea that, like, well, you break our laws, there are consequences. Like, sometimes people make this argument of, like, if you are undocumented, it means that you violated our country's laws, and ICE is the agency that enforces those laws. And sometimes people are even saying, yes, they shouldn't abuse their power, like there are things that ICE has done that I don't like, but they argue that there's nothing fundamentally wrong with a system of having our country enforce those laws that are on the books. I'm curious if you ever find yourself having those kinds of conversations with folks who see it that way, and how you respond when someone shares that perspective.
I try. Typically, the folks that are super hardline with that, I'm not having, direct conversations with. But I think the most important thing to address about this is oftentimes the conversation in the media is about criminal records, about how these folks, don't have criminal records, which is true. However, it doesn't matter. We have to actually think about, especially as allies, changing the conversation to a conversation about due process. Due process is afforded to everybody in this country. That's what makes this a free country. So it doesn't matter if somebody did make a mistake and somebody did commit a crime. It doesn't matter. We all deserve due process. And so ICE is not coming with judicial warrants. ICE is racially profiling. So due process is not happening. That being said, the primary way that ICE is targeting folks is that, if you're familiar at all with the Laken-Riley Act that was passed at the beginning of Trump's term, which basically says that any charge, even misdemeanors, require you to be in immigrant detention. So what's happening is immigrants are any run-in with the police, whether it's driving without a license, or you get pulled over for DUI, or a simple disorderly conduct or something like that, before they even have their day in court, ICE comes and picks them up. We had, just yesterday, I met with a family of a man who was accused of taking the pickup order at Starbucks. Had interaction with the police, ICE came a few days later. So, the people that are in these detention centers are primarily everyday people. And yes, some of them have no records whatsoever because ICE will take collateral. ICE will pull over and be looking for one person. If they find 3, they take them all too. But even the targeting that they're doing is unjust, and it continues.
Yeah, the criminal justice system already exists to address criminality, which is a whole other conversation. But yeah.
Yeah, and the last thing I say, I think it was part of your question, is that I admittedly did not truly understand how horrible the immigration system was in America until I started doing this work, especially for our South American neighbors, because of the fact that we literally rely on these people to run our economy. We depend on their labor, and provide no pathway to citizenship. There's no pathway for these undocumented folks to become citizen. If we could spend so much less money if we did mass amnesty and made a pathway for people that have been here 10 years, 20 years, that have all adult children that have been born here. It would be so much easier to do that than to do what we're doing. So that's something to say to folks when they say do it right. There is no path for undocumented folks. And right now, a lot of the folks that are doing it right, that are following all the procedures, are also getting caught up in this. So that is a complete falsehood.
Yeah. At the end of this month, on August 30th, we're going to have Angela and Carlos Della Valle come in from Downingtown, which our congregation followed their story. So we'll hear another perspective on that too. And Carlos obviously is from Mexico. I am wondering if anybody has any questions for Stephanie. Yeah. So Majid, go ahead. I don't think we have a mic. I'll just repeat your question when you're done.
So many of the prisons that house undocumented people are run by for-profit companies that are making millions of dollars. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so Majid was asking Stephanie if she can speak at all to the fact that a lot of these detention centers are run by for-profit companies as well.
Yeah, yes, they are. Most of them are. Moshannon Valley Processing Center is run by Geo Group. So is Delaney Hall, that you may have heard on the news, is run by Geo Group. Here's something that I tell folks often to keep in mind. It's easy to blame this administration for what's happening right now. But we have to keep in mind that all of these systems and all of these processes and these detention centers existed before Trump's term. In fact, in 2024, the ACLU filed a lawsuit against Moshannon Valley for conditions. And our own prisons are the same situation, making money off of people being there. So it's important to, as we wake up, as I wake up, to realize that as a society we've allowed these things to exist, but now that we know, now it's time to demand something else, because treating people with humanity and having liberty and freedom is what this country is supposed to be about. And we really can't be that until everyone is afforded that.
Yeah. I think we often are not thinking in our daily lives about the difference between when something is a for-profit company and when it's a government agency or a nonprofit. But if you think about it, a for-profit company wants to do more. They want to make money. They want to sell more. They want to sell more iPhones, right? That's different when the more is more cells and more people in prisons. You don't want to create an incentive for our government to lock up more people so that people can make money. And that's what the system does as it is right now. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I see 3, and I think we have time for all 3 of you. I saw Paul, I saw someone over here, Bev, and Raven. Let's start with you, Paul.
So besides voting and donating to causes, what are some ways that people who have spare time and energy, what are some of the ways that we can make the biggest difference?
Yeah, so Paul said besides voting and donating, what are some of the ways that we can try to make a difference?
Well, there's a couple different things. I mean, one is, you could consider joining your local rapid response teams, and getting involved in that way. Sometimes there's roles involved in the work that aren't on the street, so they may need volunteers and help in that way. I think also amplifying stories, visibility, like talking about it. I think more people need to be having these conversations in public spaces about what's going on. Also, policy. So supporting policy that, especially local policy. So there's a lot of work being done to pass welcoming policies in every municipality and township. Basically welcoming policies set it into writing that township employees, the police, will not work with ICE beyond what's legally required through a judicial warrant. So there's a lot of that work going on. So getting involved in that. If it's not happening in your community, to do it. So those are all different things that you can do. But I think, and just to be educated, to learn what you can about the immigration system, what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. Bev?
My question is kind of emotional, being on the front lines and seeing this injustice being done day after day. How do you keep going?
So Bev asked Steph, just seeing this on the front lines day after day, how do you keep going?
Sometimes I wonder how I do. I don't even know, because I'm carrying like an insurmountable amount of secondary trauma and having to just like hold people and families, and I don't know. I don't know. I could have never imagined that this is what I would be doing. Sometimes I feel like at some point in my life I'm going to have a lot of processing to do but in the meantime, I really try to keep myself grounded, try to balance taking care of myself. It's hard. And support of the team around me. There is a whole team of people that are making this happen. So really like leaning into that. We like to say it's a relay race and not a marathon. That we all need breaks and we all need, that. And lastly, I'm learning a lot about my nervous system. I think I'm starting to learn a lot more about like somatic practices, and really starting to recognize when my nervous system is up and consciously doing things to bring it down, and trying to not make choices or conversations when it's up here, which I think is the work for all of us, and the work of liberation is that for everybody. So, trying to lead by example and get better at that every day.
And Raven, you had a question?
Second, and more importantly, what is the greatest challenge you see to
Sorry, I'm just going to repeat so that folks online can hear. So Raven's question is about rapid response groups coordinating across different areas and how effective that is, and then also recruitment and retention to keep people going. Yeah.
Over the course of this past year, we have built not only the network in our own county, but like the relationships in the network, like you're talking about across county, across state, and even across the Mid-Atlantic region. So it's still an ever-evolving process, but there are meetings for all PA rapid response leads where we are able to, share information, share what's working, what's not working. So it really is invaluable that because it's just the boundaries between Monco and Chesco and Delco are all sometimes it goes right, like Phoenixville, it's like halfway through it. So there is a lot of that happening, and it's really helped us. I mean, it helps us to identify ice quicker, to confirm that it is ice that, when cars are seen. So that is happening. And what was the second question?
How are you recruiting and how are you retaining people?
Got it. We recruit mostly by referral and advertising and talking to folks in our networks versus widely on social media posts. I would say, some of the hard part of recruitment is fear, right? So there's a lot that this government is doing to make us afraid to do this work. And it's scary. It can be scary. So, we've had volunteers be called by their first and middle name out in the field because, ICE use face recognition and plate checkers. And it's mostly intimidation tactics, but, there's risk. And so I think some of it is that. But I think that the hardest thing to keep people in is a lot of people come in with the best intentions, but kind of it's the life that we live. They get distracted, they sign up, but then, people work, people have a lot going on. This is overwhelming. So I think that's even more of a harder thing than the fear part of it. So, but those that are in are dedicated, and more and more we get more people in. So.
Anyone here who's retired or semi-retired should totally jump in.
Yes, if you live in Montgomery County, especially if you live in Monco, we have rapid response. We have neighborhood teams across the county, so we might have one where you live or you work. If you're interested, you can talk to me. I also have the tip line. We have a tip line that you can call or text if you see ICE. Chester County really doesn't have a universal tip line, so also if you see ICE in Chester County, you can text or call us as well, and we will get that information to Chesco. So it's out on the table. You can take a picture of the number, save it in your phone so that you just have it to click so that you can call if you see anything.
Yeah. And if you are in Chester County and you're curious to learn more, feel free to talk to me after the service. I know Phoenixville has rapid response. I don't know if they got started yet. Downingtown was working on it. I don't know if it's active yet.
Yeah, I think there is something like Westchester, Downingtown area, and there's definitely out by Kennett Square too. Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, I'm grateful for you for taking the time this morning, and I hope you can hang around and enjoy some snack also with your family. If folks have more questions that they want to ask you one-on-one, but I'm going to invite our band back up on stage for our last song. And invite you to sit back down, and let's give a round of applause for Stephanie. And
thank you very much.
Thank you. Come on over.
I think you are. Yeah. All right. Whether in body or in spirit, please rise for our last song today.
free. When darkness comes, there's a chance to shine. When ripples roll, you rise. When darkness comes, shine all your light, so I can get my strength from you tonight. When darkness comes, that's your chance to shine. When ripples roll, you rise. When darkness comes, shine all your light, so I can get my strength from you. I can get my strength from you. I can get my strength from you tonight.
That sparked it is always inside of us. And as we extinguish our chalice, we say these words together. As we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, and to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. Something Steph said that stuck with me is that we don't run a marathon, we run a relay. And I'm grateful for all the members of our relay team that are here today and watching from home. Passing the baton, let's do another week, and we'll be back here next Sunday. Let's put our hands together one more time. Guys, take us out.
You're welcome.